Welcome to the Genealogy Happy Hour, a place where new family historians can learn to document their family histories and celebrate their new discoveries. I'm Amy.
And I'm Penny, and we're here to help you discover your family tree from the beginning.
Welcome to episode 68. Today, we're going to be talking about someone with the same name with one signature.
Okay. A little similar to the doppelganger, but different.
Correct.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to the doppelganger, but this is more of a case study.
Gotcha.
But first, do you have wine for us today, Penny?
We have wine. Okay, so
what are we drinking?
My last suggestion from the Willamette Valley, Ribbon Ridge, is from Eminent Domain. Is the winery.
Are we still talking about your wine trip to
we
Oregon?
I'm just rubbing it in.
The one that you didn't invite me to go on?
I'm rubbing it in. But this place, Amy, if only you had been there.
If only.
It was stunning.
Really?
The views were stunning.
I have no idea.
I was still capable of enjoying the views at that point. But
so this was probably the first winery you went to.
Right. So good. Anyway, we're going to talk about the 2021 rosé that they have there, and it says it's their 5th annual rosé bottling for Eminent Domain, 100% Pinot Noir, strawberry and tropical aromatics, with a rich mouthfeel that peaks with a hint of peach, candied citrus, and basil. It was good. It was good, I have to tell you. I'm sorry. So sorry you weren't there to enjoy it.
Or that you didn't bring me a bottle.
Sure didn't.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on to today's topic.
All right.
This is your ancestor.
So this is my ancestor. My ancestor, George Shaver. And I had run across his name, George Shaver, in the Revolutionary War muster rolls as an infantry soldier in the Virginia line in 1782. So I'm like, yeah, awesome. George
Shaver. You can put
Shaver.
in another supplement. For
Exactly. This could be, and when I looked into the GRS, which I talked about in a previous podcast, the genealogical research system that DAR has, I did not find this particular individual. So this would have been like a new patriot in the DAR database. And so I'm like super excited, right?
Excellent.
So I started doing my research on this, my George Shaver. And I do know for sure that I do descend from him. I have a family Bible transcription outlining the family, the births and the marriages in the family. I do know that he was born in 1753 in Germany. It even gives the place in Germany, which is outside Dusseldorf, which is really exciting.
Oh, I see German
exactly.
In your future.
Yes. So, if you find out where the city they're in, you're golden. Mm-hmm. And then he died in Shenandoah County, Virginia, about 1839. And he married Barbara Stover. She was born in I think she was born in Virginia, and they got married in 1785, just after the end of the Revolution. So again, he's my 5th great-grandfather, and my question is he the same George Shaver who fought in the Revolutionary War? So I've got the Bible record, but it really, again, just says the births and the marriages, which is great. We've got kinship there, and wouldn't be able to prove that any other way. Although, I take that back. I can. I have his marriage bond. Again, he married in 1785 to Barbara Stover. And I have the marriage bond, and he signed the marriage bond. And I also have a copy of his last will and testament that was dated 1724. It's also signed by him.
1824. 1724?
1824, yes. Thank you. Okay. 1824, yes. Yeah, his will was written in 1824, and it must have been proved, I don't have the date here, but around 1839. and because that's the date of death that I have, approximate date of death I have for him. So, but it lists his wife, it lists everybody who's in that Bible record in the will. So again, great documentation there to prove this kinship relationships. The signature is the same. It's got the umlaut over the A in Shaver. It could be Shaver, Shaver, or Schaefer with F's.
Yep.
Can go either way.
Okay.
So, I'm linking him to Virginia right after the war, linking him to his family and to his immediate descendants and their marriages. So, but now I needed to place him in Virginia during the Revolutionary War. So I need to start looking for documentation during the war. I mean, obviously I have that muster roll, but that doesn't give me anything else other than Virginia.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
So I start looking at land records, and
our favorite.
Hey. And I have not finished the land records. I've got to go back and dig some more. But I found 2, and that was kind of enough to get me to answer my research question. But there was a land patent for 75 acres of land dated 16th of February, 1771 in Augusta County, Virginia, to George Shaver. And it was adjacent, the patent says adjacent to Stover's Great Tract. So, of course, I know that my George married Barbara Stover, right?
Yes, makes perfect sense.
It's good.
Yep.
It mentions the surname of the wife.
Yeah.
It's good. It's in Shenandoah County.
Oh,
So actually, I'm sorry. It's not. It's not Shenandoah County yet. It's actually Shenandoah County, where he died and where my ancestors lived. Was created out of Frederick County, which was split into Dunmore County. Dunmore County ended up turning into Shenandoah County in the 1770s. So,
but you've got him in Virginia.
I've got him in Virginia, and this Augusta County is just south of the county where he was from. So
perfect.
So far, so good. The only problem with this particular record is it was created in 1771, and I know, according to the Bible record, that my George was born in 1753. So he was only 18 years old at the time the patent was issued, and so he had been too young. He's still been considered a minor under Virginia, not Virginia law, under British law to be able to receive the land. So that's not my George. So my conclusion is there's at least one more George Shaver that's running around Virginia who's older than my guy. But
we don't have an age for this guy.
We don't. No,
he's just older.
We don't, and we just know it's in
Okay.
Augusta County. Then I found another land grant for 133 acres, dated the 1st of September, 1780. So this is now during the war. Also in Augusta County, to George Shaver. So the good news is now my George is old enough to receive this land.
Right.
So that's good.
But it still could be the other George.
It could be. And it's in Augusta County, again, close to where I know that my George lived in Shenandoah County. In the meantime, Rockingham County was kind of created in between those two, but still, traveling distance is still okay. So it's possible that this could be my George's land. But then I started looking, in addition to these land records, to bounty land records, because a lot of the guys who had patriotic service in the Revolutionary War, they received bounty land. And I was able to find that George Shaver, quote, George Shaver is entitled to the portion of land allowed a private of the Continental Line for 3 years of service, end quote. And this was dated May 10th, 1785, and it was signed by Thomas Merriweather.
Oh.
So
could be,
it
or
could
be the other
Correct.
One. We don't know, right?
Correct.
We don't know
Yes.
yet.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. So, but now I've got. I know that he was given some land.
So this is the point where a lot of people would maybe jump to that of like,
Right.
This is my guy, and just
Absolutely,
be
sure.
under that assumption.
Sure. I mean, I'm getting closer.
Yeah.
I know he got married there. in 1785.
Yeah.
He's, definitely getting closer. So, in addition to that note that it says that he's confirms that he's given bounty land, I find an assignment of bounty land, actually 2 different notes that George Shaver was assigning his bounty land to someone else. So he wrote 2 notes, one in January of 1785 and the other in April of 1785. And the first one is addressed to someone called Francis Triplett, who was the justice for the county of Fauquier in Virginia. Well, that's a little farther to the east from where my people are in Shenandoah. So that's kind of interesting, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe the person who he's assigning it to lives there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was addressed to Colonel Merriweather, who was the guy who wrote the third note. And both notes were assigning this bounty land to a John Jones and signed by George Shaver. The problem with this is that this George Shaver did not sign his name. There were no pretty little umlauts over the A's. It was just an X with his mark. So at this point, I'm pretty sure that this bounty land was given to this George Shaver, who was a soldier in the infantry in the Virginia line in 1782.
Yeah.
In 1785, it was 3 years. There's
Yep.
3 years of service. He signs with an X, where my George was at least literate enough to sign his own name twice, and then they're exactly the same. So that pretty much crushed my hopes of my George being this Revolutionary War soldier. In fact, I really don't still know yet when my George came over, or when my George came to the New World. And all I know is that he shows up in Virginia to get married in 1785. So, but he did not get any bounty land as far as I can tell so far. So,
All right.
but I do need to continue to dig into those land records to find his land transactions. So, next time we go to the Library of Virginia in Richmond, that's going to be on my list of to-dos.
Yes. Yeah, I can see where that would be, where, like I said before, people would jump to that conclusion, not even paying attention to a signature. Like that would be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and because they're in the same location, same name, same time period.
Gotta be.
And I don't know.
But
and
it's not.
I don't know. There could be 3 George Shavers. There could be the older one that got the land in 1771.
Oh, what if he learned how to write after this?
No.
I'm just throwing it out.
No. Because, and I can tell you why, is because
Yes.
the notes were all written, the notes were written in 1785,
Yes.
and his marriage bond was written in
Just
1785.
trying to give us some hope there.
No. No, he did not become literate in a matter of, let's see. No, as a matter of fact, he got married before any of those notes were written, or in between. He was married in February of 1785. The first note was written in January, and the second was in April. So, yeah.
Again, the timeline.
In a month. No. And then forgot. No. Timeline, exactly right. So, see, you're right. That timeline helps me here.
Yeah.
And what I really need to do is I need to chase down all 3. So I have done a little more research, and I do know there's another George Shaver who got married in 1789, if I remember correctly. That could be the Revolutionary War guy. I need to look at that, see if there's a bond for that. Mm-hmm. But I do need to kind of sort all these guys out because they all are in that Western Virginia area. At least 2 of them are. So.
What I'm visualizing, we're sitting here in Amy's house doing this, and she's got a big wall behind us that has some beautiful artwork on it, but I think the artwork has to go, and this whole wall is turned into a big whiteboard for your timelines. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that could be it, yeah.
Well,
all right, so
I keep searching,
yep. Until next time,
yep.
Cheers. Thank you for listening. Please email us with any questions or comments at genealogyhappyhour@gmail.com.
Visit our website, www.genealogyhappyhour.com, for additional resources, books, and wines. Don't forget to drink responsibly
and never drink around genealogical documents.